trying to get this. There you go. Welcome, folks, to O'Connell Street. I'm going to take you around the River Liffey today, between the bridges, and then featuring Temple Bar a little later. Hope everybody's doing well. We're here, right here on O'Connell Street, or O'Connell Bridge, I should say. And what's unique about this bridge right here in Dublin City is that its width is longer than its length. So it's 50 metres wide and 45 metres in length. Very busy time. Right now it's 4:30 in the evening. Lots of people getting off work, making their way home. But named after Daniel O'Connell, as is O'Connell Street right there, the largest thoroughfare in Dublin, or Dublin's main thoroughfare. There's the great man right there behind the bus, Daniel O'Connell himself, known as the Liberator, the Catholic Emancipator. And now this bridge was built in 1791. It was formerly known as Carlisle Bridge after the 5th Earl of Carlisle, but renamed for Daniel O'Connell in 1882. And it was designed by the great architect James Gandon, one of the most prolific architects here in Dublin and throughout Ireland in the 1700s. He also designed some great buildings, such as the Custom House, which you can see a little bit further down. You can see the dome right there at the Custom House, the King's Inn, the Four Courts, many other great buildings here in Dublin. And now a huge event took place here in Dublin in the year 1933. It was the 25th of June, and this bridge right here had close to 500,000 people on it for the Eucharistic Congress on the 26th of June 1933. There was 12 ocean liners that visited Dublin to accommodate the huge numbers of people who came to the city of Dublin for that event. There was a man by the name of Arthur Fields. He was here on this bridge for 50 years, from 1930 right up until 1980, and he was a photographer. So he took photographs of people on the bridge and so forth, and many of these people would come back a few days later and pick up their photographs. So for 50 years, Arthur Fields, he was known locally as the man on the bridge. Took over 182,000 photographs of pedestrians on the bridge from 1930 to 1980s, till 1980. As I say, he took some personal photographs for people, and they would come back and pick them up a few days later, as I said. Now, Daniel O'Connell, as we're looking at here, O'Connell Bridge, and O'Connell Street, and there is the magnificent monument of Daniel O'Connell. And he was a great Irish political figure. He was a lawyer. He was a barrister. And as I said before, known as the Liberator, Catholic Emancipator. He founded the Catholic Association in 1823 to try and get equal rights, civil rights, if you like, for the poor Irish Catholic people of the day. Most of them during that period in the early 1800s and so forth, when Daniel O'Connell was around, were very poor tenant farmers, and he tried to get some economic rights for them, so forth as well. He was the first Irish Catholic, to be to enter politics at Westminster at a time when Irish people were not afforded the luxury of practicing their own religion. They were actually extremely poor people, and they weren't even allowed an education. But Daniel O'Connell changed all that when he entered politics, becoming, as I say, the first Irish Catholic to enter Westminster. And he convinced the British politicians that they would be more beneficial to them if they let the Irish people practice their religion, and also if they let them have an education. He said a sharper mind will just benefit you. In other words, what he was saying, it will benefit us here in Ireland. Anyway, they agreed with him, and they went forth, and that's when the Irish people were then once again afforded, if you like, an education, and also were able to practice their Catholic religion as well. All down to this man, Daniel O'Connell. Many other great things he achieved during his lifetime as well. One of the great leaders here in Ireland, and if you were to ask an Irish person who's the most famous person in Irish history, it would be Daniel O'Connell, or maybe Michael Collins, but one of the two, or maybe they're in equal standing, if you like. He was also the first Catholic Lord Mayor, the first Catholic Lord Mayor of Dublin in 1841. And the only church in Ireland, every single church in Ireland is named after a saint, except for the Daniel O'Connell Memorial Church in Cahersiveen, County Kerry, his hometown, is named the Daniel O'Connell Memorial Church. Have a look at that view as we look towards the Halfpenny Bridge. We do have some people on here. I didn't think we'd have anybody on, but welcome anyone who's just come. Let me see, there's a chat here. Yeah, we're going to leave O'Connell Bridge and we're going to make our way down. We're going to make our way down the River Liffey. Let's say the River Liffey is the river that runs through the coming up to here. It's the river that runs through the centre of Dublin City, separates north inner city from south inner city. I'm on the north side of the River Liffey at this present time, but we're going to make our way a little later over to the south side and into Temple Bar. This where I am walking right now is Bachelor's Walk, it's known as Abbey Court. There's a great music venue right here. It's called the Arlington Hotel. This is it right here on my right hand side, known for its great traditional Irish music and Irish dancing. It's called the Legends or Celtic Nights. So top class place for Irish traditional music and Irish dancing. It's sold out every night of the week, nearly every day of the year. So it's coming. It's, as I say, it's a little after 4:30 right now in the evening, and it's getting dark. November the 30th. So this board, we're on the boardwalk right here, and you just see the River Liffey there. There's 21 bridges running over the River Liffey in the city of Dublin. Many of them are named after very famous Irish people, including as the one we just left, Daniel O'Connell, the great liberator, Catholic emancipator. Also have the Samuel Beckett Bridge, named after one of Ireland's great playwrights who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1969. You also have the James Joyce Bridge a little further up. As I say, most of them are named after great Irish heroes. But we're making our way up here to the Halfpenny Bridge. So if you were to ask anybody what is the most famous bridges across the River Liffey in Dublin, then they'll tell you O'Connell Bridge and of course the Halfpenny Bridge. Halfpenny Bridge, the very first pedestrian bridge over the River Liffey, and it was built in 1816. And there's a really good story behind this bridge, in that a man, before this bridge was built, a man by the name of Willie Walsh used to ferry people across on a boat. But this boat became very, very unreliable, was very faulty, and the Dublin Corporation told Willie Walsh he could no longer travel and have passengers on this little ferry going across the River Liffey. But they gave him an ultimatum and said that you could build a bridge, not thinking that he would, because he wouldn't have been a wealthy man. And he decides to build a bridge. Put a team together, construction people, and built this wonderful bridge, the Halfpenny Bridge. This is in 1816. He was given a 100-year contract by the Dublin Corporation where he could charge a halfpenny for every person crossing the bridge. And that was for 100 years. So think about it, he would have become a very, very wealthy man. Today, there is about 30,000 people that cross this bridge every single day. Back then, there may have even been more that would have crossed the bridge, because there is many bridges today. But there would have been even more, probably about 50,000 a day would have crossed this bridge back in 1816. So that's when it was established, in 1816. This bridge, it's made of cast iron, and I say the very first pedestrian bridge going across the River Liffey. If you cross this bridge, you'll go in through this alleyway, or archway, I should say, into Temple Bar. You got the Merchant's Arch pub right there as well. There's another pub over here named after the bridge, of course, the Halfpenny Bridge, traditional Irish pub. We have over here Liffey Street, very well named obviously after the area. Over Liffey, that's Liffey Street right there. There's also another bridge up here, and it's also a pedestrian bridge, but it would have been built nearly 200 years after. Here's another view of the Halfpenny Bridge. So this next bridge would have been built over 200 years after this bridge, after the Halfpenny Bridge. And that is the Millennium Bridge. Dates back to 1999, December 1999, just in time for the new millennium. And it's known, obviously, as the Millennium Bridge. Excuse me, I got a cough, got something caught in my throat, sorry. As we walk down the boardwalk. Excuse me. It's actually not too bad out today. It's not raining, at least. A little bit on the chilly side, but quite pleasant for a walk for this time of year. Then we're going to try and catch a little later. We're going to try and catch some of the music in some of the pubs, which will be great. You got Little Italy over here to my right. It's a very, very small Little Italy, although we do have lots and lots of Italian restaurants. But the Little Italy itself is pretty small. There might only be about 15 restaurants, all told, in Little Italy in Dublin. Excuse me. Seems to be a good few people there getting ready to go into some establishment. So that's Little Italy right here in Dublin. One of the smallest Little Italies in Europe, probably. But as I said before, lots of. Another look at the Millennium Bridge from this side. This will light up soon. Maybe a little later they'll put on the lights, but they usually have Christmas lights on the Millennium Bridge. Maybe it's a little early. Maybe sometime December they'll switch them lights on. And we're making our way up to the next bridge, which is the Henry Grattan Bridge. Henry Grattan, one of Ireland's great political leaders during the early 1800s, late 1700s, early 1800s. He was a brilliant orator and a fantastic politician, and he spent his life politically fighting for Irish freedom, legislative freedom, independence, equal rights, civil rights, if you like. And he was very much beloved by the Irish people. And he was part of the old Irish Parliament, which is on College Green, just outside of Trinity College here in Dublin. And the Irish people loved this guy, Henry Grattan, so much that they didn't call it the Irish Parliament. They call it Grattan's Parliament. Unfortunately for poor old Henry Grattan, in the year 1800, there was the Act of Union. And the Act of Union was where all Irish affairs were now to be conducted in Westminster. So the Irish politicians had to leave, including Henry Grattan, and move to Westminster. He died there 20 years later at the age of 74, still fighting for Irish freedom, Irish political freedom, and civil rights, equal rights, and Irish independence at the age of 74 in 1820. So this bridge is named after him, Henry Grattan Bridge, the Grattan Bridge. It's located right here because of where he grew up, because he grew up on a street just around the corner called Fishamble Street. You can see some of the great hotels here. The hotel you see right in front of me there is the Clarence Hotel. Now, there's a story behind this hotel, and I'm going to tell you that now. And the story behind this is that there was a young band in the mid-1970s. They were playing a gig around Dublin City, and they came into this pub to get a drink. I think they were supposed to meet a potential manager or whatever, and they went into the bar, and the bartender refused them service. On the way out, the lead singer of this band told the bartender, the next time we're in this hotel, we will own it. Skip about 15 years later, the late 1980s, 89, 1990, they bought the hotel. The young man that turned around and said, the next time we're in this hotel, we will own it, was none other than Bono, and the band was U2. Now, they owned it, and they owned 50% stake in it because they weren't hoteliers. They had no intentions of running a hotel. The only reason why they bought it was because they said they would. But just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they sold their interest in the hotel, so they no longer own it. The Clarence Hotel. It's now owned by the Press Up Group, who own many hotels and restaurants and bars throughout the city. So there's a good one for you. A little bit of Dublin history. We have down here Capel Street, so between the bridge, the Henry Grattan Bridge, you have Capel Street on one end, on the north end. On the south end you got Parliament Street. Capel Street is one of the most diverse streets in Dublin, in that there is restaurants and shops from all over the world. This is a very diverse city today. It's people from all nationalities all over the world, and they have restaurants for you name a country, whether it be Japanese, Chinese, Taiwan, Italian, French, Polish, Lithuanian, Brazilian, you name it. They have representation here on this street, or maybe even a shop like a store, if not a restaurant. So very, very diverse. And most of it is just, I see some cars coming up now, but no, there is no car, so it's been recently pedestrianised. No cars are allowed on it. Now if you look at this lovely building here to my right, just on the other end of the bridge, it's a very, very impressive building. It's called the Sunlight Chambers building. It is owned by the Lever Company, the Lever brothers. They built it in 1901, and it's called, as I say, the Sunlight Chambers, after its main brand, the Sunlight soap, a type of laundry soap. And the building was restored in 1999. So there's I don't know if you can see it because I can't really zoom in, but there's loads of figures and little buster statues, if you like, on each level of this building, representing the men and the women that work for the Sunlight Soap Company, or the Lever Brothers Company. The top band of glazed terracotta tiles between the upper floors of this building tells the story of men working at various chores such as sowing, harvesting, carrying coal, building, ploughing and fishing, and getting their clothes dirty. And the bottom building or tiles tells the story of women washing, drying and storing their clothes. The work is in the style of a Florentine sculptor, Luca della Robbia, and it was designed by Edward Old in the genteel Georgian and Victorian architecture. There's a sister building in Newcastle upon Tyne in England. Have a look at this nice carriage. These carriages, you'll see them all over Dublin, bring you to various different locations throughout the city. So this street right ahead of us is Parliament Street, another lovely street here in Dublin. Some nice restaurants and so forth as well. There's another look at that Sunlight building, as you can see right here. Now I just missed the light, so it's going to take a little bit to get through this. I know there's a few people on here, but I can't see the live chat. The music cafe right here is really cool. You'll see musical instruments in this cafe as well. Pretty unique place. I'm going to give you a look at the River Liffey. A better view of it going down eastwards. Hi Dave, Sarah, how are you? How are you keeping? Right here in Dublin City. You're looking down at the River Liffey, and you'll see the Millennium Bridge, and then beyond that you have the Halfpenny Bridge, and after that you have O'Connell Bridge, and we are right on Henry Grattan Bridge right now. We're going to make our way into Temple Bar, show you a few sights there. So I don't know how long you've been on, but I've been showing and giving a little bit of history of the area. It takes a long time for it to go green again after the lights go red. Oh, here we go, this is great. So I'd say this is Parliament Street. And you'll see at the top of the street, City Hall, Dublin City Hall. Dates back from 1765 to 1775 it was built. It's a great venue, pub, or City Hall if you like. A lot of weddings are held there. I could go down this street, the old part of Temple Bar. I'm not going to go, not being here long. You didn't miss much, Sarah. I'm just showing you around. So this, right up here, is the old part and the old cobblestone streets. These are ancient streets, over 1,000 years old. The old part of Temple Bar right there. We're going into more of the modern part of Temple Bar, although still hundreds of years old. There's nothing that modern in this city because it is an old city. Dublin had its millennium when it was 1,000 years old in 1988. This is the Porterhouse pub right here in the corner. The first ever craft beer pub in all of Ireland. Dates back to 19... We were late to the game. I think it was 1996 that they opened up here. But they got like 100 beers on tap. 100 beers in bottled beers, if you like. And it's the only place in all of Dublin, probably in all of Ireland, where you will not get a pint of Guinness. The reason for this is when this company, the Porterhouse, were a small little brewery, they were putting some of their beers in the local bars here in Dublin and throughout Ireland until the Guinness reps seen this beer in these pubs and said, "What's that beer there?" I says, "Oh, that's a new craft beer company called Porterhouse." And the Guinness rep said, "Well, if you don't get rid of that out of this pub, we'll take Guinness out." So obviously pubs had to have Guinness, the number one selling stout or beer in all of Ireland. So they had to get rid of the Porterhouse beer. So they decided to set up their own brewery or their own pub right there. They also own the Dingle Whiskey distillery down in Dingle, County Kerry. And they have several other Porterhouse. But it's the only place to say in Dublin where you will not get a pint of Guinness. How about that? So we're walking down Cullen Street. This is the back entrance, that Clarence Hotel. I just told you the story about U2, who used to own this hotel up until just a few weeks ago. And they would have owned it for over 30 years, maybe 34, 35 years. But they just sold their interest in it. The Clarence Hotel, that's the back entrance. As you can see, the building, if you were on here a little bit earlier, if you want to play back this video, you'll see a very, very impressive front end of the building overlooking the River Liffey. Very, very impressive hotel. As are many of the hotels here in Dublin. As you see, we've still got the cobblestone streets along here of Temple Bar. Now, Temple Bar, this area was named after Sir William Temple. Sir William Temple was an Englishman that came to Ireland here in 1599. Very wealthy man. He owned a huge big estate here, and this would have been part of his gardens. He would have had a big mansion. He was the provost of Trinity College from 1907 right up until his death. Sorry, in 1607, right up until his death in 1627. Rory Gallagher corner right here. One of Ireland's greatest ever guitarists. And this is Meeting House Square in there. There's some great farmers markets there on a Thursday and Friday. Sorry, on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Paddy Mac's pub. All these pubs are really popular, especially among the tourists. And they're all very, very busy all throughout the year. It's amazing how busy they are. Even in November, you'll see the streets around here are packed. This is the oldest pub in all of Temple Bar, known as the Norseman. Dates back to 1696. Obviously named after the Vikings, the Norsemen. The Vikings with a huge presence. This is a Viking city, Dublin. But the most, so there's music, a musician playing in there now. We'll go into the Temple Bar though. Now, the most famous pub obviously is named after the area, and that's the Temple Bar pub. This is it right here. Beautiful decorations. There's lights here all year round, but this place is jam-packed every day of the week. every month of the year or every day of the year. They got great music, and the music they play here is right from 9 a.m. in the morning till about 3 a.m. in the morning. They got some great bands that play traditional Irish folk and ballad music, and then your regular music and everything as well, so they mix it up a lot. But it is a fantastic pub. Very famous, dates back to 1840. We'll go inside. Maybe we'll listen to a little bit of music. Hopefully they're not on a break, the musicians, but they do take breaks. Yeah, they are on a break. Wouldn't you know it? Sorry guys. How you doing? I was hoping the musicians wouldn't be on a break, but they are. Looks like they just finished. And there's another musician coming on. Yeah, he's packing up for the night. So another musician will probably come on in 10 or 15 minutes. It's not what you can do. There's James Joyce having a pint here in the Temple Bar. His eyes are shining. He must have had too much to drink. There's another bar. Lots of bars under the one roof here. They even have their own whiskey bar as well. Obviously, there you have the harp, the Irish national symbol, national emblem. We're the only country in the world that has a musical instrument as its national emblem. Era, the Irish word for Ireland. Ooh. Named after Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland. Brian Boru harp. Another great whiskey pub right here. The Whiskey Reserve. Of course, Ireland known for its whiskies. We've got hundreds of whiskies. There's a huge upswing in whiskey distilleries at the moment here in Ireland. It seems as if every other week they're setting up a new distillery, and most of them are all, museums or whatever now, or events where you can go and see how the whiskey is distilled and so forth. Now, this is the Wall of Fame. This is the Irish Rock and Roll Museum here in Dublin. You can see some of the great Irish musicians. There's Sinead O'Connor right there. And we got Phil Lynott, Imelda May, you might know her. Of course, U2 are up there. Bob Geldof. There's U2 up top. And of course, we'll probably see coming up here in a minute the late great Shane MacGowan, who just died today. Actually died 3 a.m. this morning. Obviously the lead singer, there's U2 again. There he is, Shane. Let's take a look at Shane, because one of the great musicians here in this country is Christy Moore. Shane just died at 3 a.m. this morning. The lead singer of the Pogues, a brilliant songwriter. Fairy Tale of New York, one of the great songs ever. Amazing. And Sinead O'Connor, of course, top right there. I know you can't see it because it's all bright. But Sinead died this year in July as well. So there's Phil Lynott from the great band Thin Lizzy. It's fantastic. It's starting to rain at the moment, folks, which is not good. But I'll try and get in, listen to some music if we can. It's starting to get a little bit heavy now. It's unfortunate. I wanted to bring you down to a few more pubs, but if this rain becomes heavier, we may not be able to do that. But we'll see what we can do. Let me go down this street here a little bit. That's Dame Street over there, one of the main thoroughfares in Dublin, straight ahead of us. Geez, it was nice and calm just about 5 minutes ago. All of a sudden, it starts raining, and it's now getting heavier. This is Bloom's Hotel right here. You'll see some of the great murals, right, from James Joyce's great book, Ulysses. That's Leopold Bloom right there. So we're getting some rain on the camera. Let's try and wipe this off if I can. better. Let's go into this pub, the old storehouse. I can hear the rain. You can hear the rain, Sarah. Looks like the only one on, Sarah. I don't know if there's any musician playing right now. Let's see. This is the old storehouse, another great pub here in Temple Bar. No music. Okay. No point going in if there's no music. We'll make our way to St. John Gogarty's. The badass Temple Bar, another great pub. The Old Mill. Highly recommend this place if you want to sample some great Irish traditional food. Great Irish stew here. Guinness is one of the ingredients in it. Some great seafood as well. So the great beef stew, Irish beef stew, Irish beef Guinness stew, as they call it. Yeah, it's getting heavier, folks. So we're just going to end this little tour at a pub coming up here called St. John Gogarty's. Hopefully the musicians are playing and they're not on a break, or they're not in between acts. Another great Irish traditional restaurant right here. Gallagher's Boxty House. Great Irish traditional food. So this is St. John Gogarty's we're coming up to right now. Another very lively pub. Oh, is there musicians playing? Yes, there is. I wish it was a little more lively. There you go. They're getting a little more lively now.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
you very much. Thank you.
It's at the top. Oh!
Tieni la festa, mignolo.
Hey! Ah, the knight in shining armor. Look at him go, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, folks, I'm going to leave you here. I hope you enjoyed the little tour today, and we'll do it again. Hopefully, we'll do Dark Kelly's on Sunday night, maybe.
We're going to do a song. This one is called Valerie. This is a song by the Zootons.
See you there, folks. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you.
So you're doing a bit of singing.